Hi, I'm Bob Woolmer, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to the completely new format of the Bob Woolmer Way cricket training program, now out on video and DVD. Top international cricketers helped me to demonstrate this wonderful game. Let's join Jonty Rhodes, Gary Kirsten, Dave Richardson and many more as they show us the skills that got them to the top. And finally, remember, practice makes perfect, but above all, enjoy the greatest game of all. We're going to concentrate on straight batted shots. One of the great shots of cricket is a straight drive. But during an innings of 100, you're going to play not the straight drive, but the forward defensive far more often. In fact, sometimes 70% of your innings will be the forward defensive. Now, Evan, tell me, why should we use a straight bat?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Evan. Well, look, I'll show you what happens. If I put a cricket ball on the face of the bat, I can get 6 complete cricket balls on the face. I put it horizontally, a cross-batted shot, I probably can only get 1 and a bit. You see, so it makes it easier in order to play if you play with a straight bat.
Yes.
So you can see it's better to play with a straight bat than with a crooked bat. Okay, but before we do that, it's more important to know how to hold a bat, which we call a grip, to know how to stand, which we call a stance, and to know where to stand, which we call a guard. Okay guys, ready? Let's go and try that then. When the batsman gets the wicket, he needs to take guard, and there are reasons for it. Umfo, what are the reasons for taking guard?
To know where your off stump is.
Is that okay? Umfo, what guard do you take?
Middle stump.
Come and show us. It's good. You probably want to come a little bit more this way, don't you, Umfo? That's it, onto middle stump. There we go. Now you ask the umpire for middle stump, nice and clear. Let's see you do it.
Centre, please, sir.
That's correct. Okay, another word for middle is centre. Okay, so we're taking guard, that's middle stump. Now how do you make the mark to know where you're standing, Umfo? Okay, use your spikes, and you make the mark, scratch the mark there. What other way would you use to make a mark?
I can use my bat.
Right, okay, so you make a line with your bat. All right, that's very good, okay. Now, Umfo said that he wanted to know where his off stump is. Let's see him get down in the stance. Very good. Let's see if he's got off stump. Let's drop a sinker with my bat, okay, from his chin down towards off stump. How are we doing? It's pretty close, isn't it? Thank you, Umfo, that was great. Come and sit down. Okay, there are other guards that we can take, such as leg stump. As you can see, I'm still holding the bat sideways to cover the leg stump. Middle and leg, where I hold the bat square to the wicket so that helps the umpire, so that middle and leg covers both stumps there. Okay, so I can take middle stump, which Umfo took, leg stump, or middle and leg. Now, why do I take those particular guards? Okay, if I stand on leg stump, it means I'm exposing my wickets, but it gives me freedom to hit the ball on the offside. So I'm a good offside player. If I stand on middle leg, then I'm a greedy player, okay? Because I like to hit on the offside and I like to hit on the leg side. So I'm a good all-round cricketer. And it's important for you to know that. And I stand on middle stump, I'm probably going to be stronger on my legs than outside off stump. But what Umfo said earlier was it's very important to know where your off stump is, because you do not want to be playing at balls that are too wide. A lot of dismissals come from people playing forward defensives at wide balls and being caught in the slips.
Can I have one leg, please?
That's it.
Thank you.
Here you go, that's interesting. Why do you take one leg?
For a few reasons, Bob. The one is it's something I've been comfortable doing over my career, and I feel it also allows me to know where my off stump is, which I think is very important for a left-hander. Right. Also, I find I'm less susceptible to the LBW decision because I'm getting my pads outside the line of leg stump, and generally for the ball to hit the wickets with a left-hander, it has to be pitched outside leg stump.
That's interesting. And do you find it right arm over bowler that you open your stance slightly in order to cope with that, or do you close yourself off?
I think for a left-hander it's very important to open your stance a little bit so you have better vision, and also ball coming across you a lot allows you to leave a lot more.
Okay, that's interesting. Thanks, Gary. Cricket is like all racket and ball sport games in that when you hold the bat, it's very important that you're able to swing the bat towards the ball in a straight line. Now, therefore, the grip is very important to do so. And Sebastian, let's see how you hold a bat. Okay, let's stand a little bit. Okay, I want Sebastian to swing that bat along that white line. Okay, ready? Let's do it with one hand at a time. Take the top hand off, Sebastian. Well done. Okay, let's see him swing that bat along that line and see how he does it, okay? Okay, now just see, as he swings, he's leaning backwards. Okay, there's something wrong with his bottom hand grip. Okay, let's take the bottom hand off now, and let's use the top hand. Okay, Sebastian, let's swing, let's bring it up here, and swing down. That's it, good, okay? All right, that doesn't look too bad. All right, let's have a look at Sebastian's bottom hand then, okay? And see what the problem is. Right, first of all, let's remember that the bat handle should be an extension of the right arm, or the bottom hand arm. Okay, now let's have a look. Okay, now you'll see that his knuckle is going down the back of the bat. Let's see if Sebastian can swing the bat along the line now, a bit better. Okay, let's try. Well done, that's good. Let's keep the head forward. Well done. Good, okay, now he's beginning to swing that a little bit easier for him, all right? Just lean forward, that's it, good, okay? Now let's put the top hand on. Okay, and let's see the two working together. Well done, that's it. Just lean forward, keep the head forward, that's it. Keep the head forward, that's it, well done. Okay, good, no, that's fine. Okay, now we see, let's have a look. We've noticed that the bottom hand, the knuckle's going down the back of the bat, and let's have a look at the top hand. Okay, to make it simple, let's take the bottom hand off. The top hand, the knuckle, formed by the thumb, or the top of the thumb, goes down the same line, the back of the bat. So that's keeping it fairly simple, okay? Let's see how the hands work together. Not too far apart, not too far apart. Okay, that's too far apart. I can put a whole hand in there, I don't want that. I want to bring the hands together comfortably so that just two fingers slot in there so it's nice and easy. Okay, let's just check the knuckles. Well done, Sebastian, let's check the knuckles. Okay, and let's have a look. You're swinging down that line again. Good. Okay, that's a basic grip. That will allow you to hit along the line of the ball. Right, we've seen the orthodox grip, and let's see how an international cricketer holds his bat. Gary, how do you hold your bat?
Yeah, Bob, it's something that's obviously very important, and I try not to change too much during the course of a career. But obviously I try to stand in a position where I'm very comfortable, and it allows me to play a full range of strokes. Obviously sometimes, especially with juniors, they get their hand too far around, which inhibits them to drive.
So let's just take your gloves off, Gary, and have a look at the position of your knuckles and fingers on the bat. Okay, let's have a look. Right. Okay, we can see the back of his hand is facing out towards cover point, and the thumb of the bottom hand is running down the back of the bat, and perhaps that's Gary's grip. He's used it for a long time, and I think it's very important, as he said, that you must develop a good grip in order to be able to hit all round the wicket. Okay, we've learned how to hold a bat. Now we've got to learn how to stand. It's very important that we know how to stand properly, comfortably, before the bowler bowls. And we've got Jackie here who's going to help me. Okay, Jackie, let's have a look and let's see how you stand. Okay, first of all, let's make sure your feet are parallel to the batting crease and are shoulder width apart. Okay, let's check that. Let's check that. Let's check. Give me your bat for a second. Let's check your feet. Nice and parallel. Good. All right, and let's check your knees. Now, nice and parallel coming down the wicket. That's good. And your hips and your shoulder. That's right. Now we need to make sure that all those are going down the wicket. Right, let's take the bat again. Okay, just check your grip. That's it. Fine. Now just roll your body forward so that you can put your bat on the ground in a nice, comfortable stance there. Rest your front hand onto the pad and get your head nice and steady, looking down the wicket at the bowler. There, let's have a look at that. Okay, so remember that. Look at it, he's just sitting down. Okay, we've got him sitting down here a little bit. He's comfortable, he's able to move forward and to move back easily because his feet are comfortably apart. Let's see him move forward. Jackie, good, well done, and a nice big step back. Well done, good. And that's from a comfortable stance. Okay, we've seen the youngsters demonstrate the orthodox stance, and now I'm going to ask Gary Kirsten what he gets or what he wants to get from his stance.
Yeah, Bob, the most important thing is that I'm balanced in my feet, and I like to stand with my feet a little bit further apart. It's also very important to be relaxed in the upper body, and I like to be a little bit more tense in my feet so I'm ready to move when the ball's bowled.
Okay, so that's interesting, guys. What we've seen here is a pretty orthodox stance. We asked Gary to get down. All right, his shoulders in line. Remember, he likes to open his stance out to the bowler. His shoulders in line, his knees, his feet are all in line there. He's got a relaxed upper body, which is important, especially when you play against someone like Devon Malcolm, who bounces the ball at you, and he's ready to go forward and back. So that's the perfect stance. Now that we see Gary in a stance, it's important to remember that we've got to develop a rhythm with a bowler running in. And as the bowler runs in, we have to make sure Gary is tapping his bat here, making sure that he's ready to bat. Okay, and just before the bowler gets into delivery stride, Gary will pick his bat up. And this is probably the most important thing to remember as a cricketer. You must get your bat up early before the bowler bowls the ball. Okay, let's have a look at the highlights of his pickup. Number one, the shoulder, the front shoulder is pointing at the ball. His elbow's coming down the wicket and his hands are coming back over the stumps. It is much better to pick the bat up straight than over gully or crooked in that fashion. I'd rather pick the ball up straight. See the figure 9 he's made here with the bat and his arms. And Gary is now perfectly ready to deal with any delivery that he's about to receive. Rhythm isn't confined just to the hands. You also need rhythm with your feet. And against some of the quickest bowlers in the world, sometimes just being still when the ball is released doesn't get you into the right position. And Gary will tell us, Gary, what methods do you use to play against someone like Waqar Younis or Devon Malcolm or Wasim Akram?
Yeah, I find it's very important that you do get moving before the ball's bowled, and I like to go with my back foot across and then my front foot forward.
Okay, you see, now what Gary's done, he's got into a position, he's covered his off stump, and now he's going to play from this particular position. And that's helped him to get ready as the ball's delivered in order to hit it. But what is important when the ball is delivered, Gary? Do you think your head should be still?
Yeah, it's obviously vital that once you get into that position of moving back and forward, that the moment he delivers the ball, your head's standing still so that you're able to judge length.
That's very important to remember. So when you make these rhythm movements, don't make them when the ball is being released, rather make them just before the ball is released. Right, we've seen Gary demonstrate the shot. Now let's break down the forward defensive item by item. Number one, Gary picks his bat up, back over the stumps there. Okay. The second thing, he steps forward, makes a nice stride by pushing off his back foot. Notice he's on his toe there, but he keeps sideways on. He doesn't turn square on, keeps sideways on. Brings the bat down absolutely straight now. Make sure the bat goes past the back pad so the ball can't get through. Joins the front pad there, hands high, over the top of the ball, bat and pad resting together. His bottom hand is released here so that he's got a split grip and his top hand is dominant. Right elbow high over the ball, head looking down over the top at the ball, which should be bouncing onto his bat there in that fashion. Gary makes a good stride forward with his front foot. Notice the heel of his back foot is raised, allowing his weight to get forward. Very important, notice also the split grip of the bottom hand. The bat and pad are together, preventing the ball from getting through. The body is balanced with the front hip over the front foot. Right, let's break down the glide off the front foot. This again, the ball's coming in at you, in-swing bowler, and you want to get the ball on the leg side, just behind square, maybe a little bit finer. You can use it to spin bowling as well to the off spinner. Okay, let's have a look at that. All right, first of all, you're going to go forward, as you would the forward defensive, and the ball comes in, you've got to get the bat in front of the pad. Let's get the bat in front of the pad, nice and straight, so you're going to make contact. Then again, rotate the wrist down and keep the ball down so that you can get your single. Again there, all right, that's important. Try not to get the back foot out, because if you miss it, you might get stumped. Okay, so remember, get the bat forward, rotate the wrist, rotate it down, and keep the bat on line. Don't play across it. It's a big mistake. That's when you get the top edge and you get caught and bowled. Keep that bat down, rotate the bat, and the ball will roll away for your bread and butter single. Glancing or gliding is a deft skill, but it is very useful to keep the scoreboard ticking over. It's worth remembering when defending your wicket as you play forward that you're only defending 9 inches by 27 inches. But when you're actually playing back and defending off the back foot, you are actually protecting your body. So it's important to remember that when you play the backward defensive. Let's see Gary doing it, and let's break down the shot item by item again. Okay, Gary, pick your bat up. Okay, now Gary's going to get in line with the ball, so he goes back and across the off stump. He slides his other foot back on his toe. He then makes sure that his bat comes down straight and in front of the body, at the same time turning his shoulders square on so that he can cope with any difference in height of the ball or the ball about to hit his body. If he was sideways on here and came in here and the ball got high, he would end up being hit in here because his bat is stuck against his body. So he must turn slightly in order to play. If he wants to hit the ball off the back foot powerfully, he can stay sideways on. But defensively, it's important for him to stay square on and to play the ball down. And in that situation, again, look at the hands. The bottom hand is released. It's soft. So when the ball hits it, it just drops down like that. Okay, that's a good backward defensive from Gary Kirsten. The backward defensive is employed to deal with the ball aimed at your body. Make sure that you get the bat in front of your body and don't fish at wide deliveries. Okay, let's break down the leg glance off the back foot. Let's have a look at this. The ball obviously is short. We're on the back foot to play backward defensively, and the ball is going to cut back and will hit us probably in stomach or lower groin region, and we've got to be able to cope with that. How often do you see a young guy jumping away to the leg side just because it's going to hurt him? Okay, let's start and watch it. Okay, we go back, and as though we're going to play the backward defensive, see the ball nip back, and it's an instinctive shot, and you want to tuck the ball down on the leg side. So what you have to do is to get your left side out of the way, okay? So watch that. I take the left side out of the way. At the same time, bring my bat down into the backward defensive position, and as I do, just rotate the wrists. It's very important to rotate the top hand here. Bottom hand is only holding the bat with 2 fingers, the thumb and the forefinger, and you're just rotating down. You're not playing across the line, you're rotating down. That's very important. To rotate down. Don't play across the line. Down and get the ball away. The back foot glance is a skill which, when perfected, will prevent players from backing away to the leg side. One of the major problems that a coach will have is to try to simulate the shot and actually having to do it on different types of surfaces, either a concrete surface or as we have here, a turf surface. And we've got the choice of using a cricket ball or a tennis ball on this particular surface. And let's see how the ball bounces. Leon's going to play the backward defensive shot, and we're going to try and simulate the shot. Okay, Leon, pick your bat up and play back, and you'll see how that ball died. So that's the problem you're going to have. So I think, well, I'll try a tennis ball, the same thing. So I throw the same spot, pick your bat up, Leon, and I throw it the same power, and it goes over his head. So that's a major problem we got as a coach, that the ball is actually too high or too low. So how do we change that, and how do we cope with that? Quite simply, I come forward to roughly the spot where the ball's going to pitch in order to play the backward defensive. So I get down on one knee, and I start the ball from the position it's going to bounce from. Okay, make sure you always tell the batsman to pick the bat up first. Pick the bat up, and well played, Leon. All right, now I'm simulating the bounce with a cricket ball. Okay, pick your bat up, and he's being able to play the backward defensive properly. Now I can still do it with a tennis ball, exactly the same thing. If I haven't got a cricket ball, I can do it on a concrete surface if I wish. Again, tennis ball, pick your bat up, and play back. Well done. Okay, let's see it happen once again. Okay, with the cricket ball again, pick your bat up, and there. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we want to achieve. Right, with the forward defensive, we're going to have a similar problem to the backward defensive, except obviously that we've got to create a different type of bounce. Now we can't have the ball bouncing to chest height. We've got to get the ball bouncing just high enough to play the forward defensive. So we have to go through the following methods in order to make that happen. Sifo, I want you to play forward defensive for me. That's it, that's very good. Well done, Sifo. A little bit of change, stay there, stay there. Now what I want to do here is just mark where his foot gets, like that, by just using some chalk on the pitch and ask him to get in that position again. Okay, right, back you go, Sifo. And again, try and get your foot into that hole. That's good, well done, all right. Now, if you'll see, the bat is this high, I've got to make the ball bounce to about that height. Okay, I'll just try and get him correct, so he's in that position. And I've got to now make sure that the bounce of the ball is going to go into there. So I've got to judge a situation that will make the ball bounce off the pitch onto that in order to simulate the shot correctly. But in order to help me, I'll ask Sifo to extend, take the bat out of your right hand, Sifo, to extend the bat as far as he can forward, to give me a rough idea. That will give me a rough idea where to bounce the ball. Now, I'll make a nice chalk mark here. Okay, thanks, Sifo. Well done. Okay, that gives me the target in which to hit. So I've got a foot mark, and I've got the ball mark in which I can throw from. So I now go back. I've got my fielders, my silly mid on, silly mid off, and my wicket keeper, just to make sure that the ball always comes back to me, and my feeder. Okay, we'll use a cricket ball first, and let's see how high that bounces using this. Right, pick your bat up, Seppo, and forward. Played, that's good. You see the bounce is perfect. Pick your bat up, just as it plays forward, well played, that's it. You pick your bat up, and forward. There we go, that's perfect. All right, let's see the difference now with a tennis ball. Okay, same throwing action, but the difference now with a tennis ball. Okay, ready? Oops, it's too high. So therefore we have to change that. We're going to throw underarm at Sippo, and we'll see how high it bounces. And that's perfect, there we go. Well played. Pick your bat up again, Sippo, and forward, and well played, that's it. What a great shot from Gary. You know, the drive is one of the best shots you could wish to play. It gives you a special thrill as a batsman hitting the ball for four, whether it's through the covers or straight, and as a spectator to see that particular shot, it gives you a special thrill. Now, I've got a few props here which I'd like to use to show you how to simplify teaching the drive, which is one of the hardest shots to teach. I've got two old swimming pool floats with foot marks on them, which I've done myself, a cup with a hole in the top, and a ball. And I've asked Vainant to come and demonstrate. So Vainant, would you like to come along? First thing I'm going to do is put the one of the mats where it says toes only on there, on the back foot where Vainant would normally stand in his stance. And the other one, I'm going to ask Vainant what he thinks is a half volley, because you can't play the drive without hitting a half volley or a low full toss. So Vainant, where do you think your half volley suits you? Okay, now you see Vainant's quite tall, so it might be a shorter guy and his foot might not be the same distance forward. So he thinks that's a half volley. Vainant, the ball's going to pitch there all the time, and we're going to make it easy for you, right? I'm going to put a cup next to your foot. I'm going to put the ball on the cup, and then, quite simply, I'm going to put your foot there to make sure you get it there all the time. Okay, all right, so just start off in the stance, Vainant. The other major problem you're going to get with driving the ball is the fact that the hands work against each other. And quite often you will see in cricket a youngster hitting the ball with too much bottom hand, which means he's actually hitting across the line of the ball, hence the piece of string. What we're going to try and teach here is that both hands are going to work together along that piece of string. So we're going to separate them now so that we can see what happens. Okay, Vainant, take your right hand off, put it behind your back, okay? Top hand, I want you now to get your weight onto that one. Let's get all the weight. On this particular back mat, I put toes only. And the reason for this is to make sure that Vainant weight is forward when you drive. That's very important, okay? Now I want Vainant to swing down, all right, along that line and make contact with the ball absolutely perfectly. So if he's strong enough and he gets his shoulder in the right place, he'll be able to do it. Okay, so he points the shoulder at the ball first of all, Vainant. Point the shoulder at the ball and swing through with the top hand. Well done, good, okay. Right, let's collect the cup and the ball. Okay, place the ball back again onto the cup and ask Vainant to do it now with just the bottom hand, okay? Okay, so we take the top hand now. In order to keep his weight correct, we don't want his body turning, okay, to the left there. We want to keep his weight going towards the ball, so we've got to use this top hand and actually make his weight come forward to help. When he swings with the bottom hand, swing along the string and bring it up towards the top hand there, but make sure that at the end of it, head is forward and both arms are straight, parallel to that piece of string on the ground. Okay, Vainant, in the right hand only. Okay, swing back, keep the weight forward, and make contact with the ball. Ready? And straight. Ah. Okay, don't worry, Vainant. I want you to do it. Do it slowly to start with. That is the problem. Quite easily to see. Vainant came round the ball. You see how easily it can happen. Right now, come along the string and make contact. You can't make contact. You can't miss it if you go along the string, Vainant. Good. Okay. All right, that's not too bad. Let's see it again. This time with both hands, Vainant. Make it much easier. Again, weight forward. Okay, and swing. Well done, Vainant. That's good. Okay, the next step forward is to use a moving ball as opposed to a stationary ball. And let's see how Vainant does. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to throw the ball underarm. Are you ready, Vainant? Okay. Sharp, well done. Keep that weight coming forward. Head over the ball. Good shot, great shot, well done. Notice the eyes on the ball, the weight coming forward, the front foot beside the ball, the hands swinging along a straight line, and then following through on the same line. Okay, you may wonder what we're doing here. We're actually learning to time the ball. This is one of many methods just to improve the timing. If you actually see it, as I hit the ball in the air, it helps me to time the ball in order to get the ball back up again. Try and use one hand, guys. Try and use one hand. Strengthen that hand. That's it. And the second method we're going to use, I'm going to ask the guys to divide into pairs. And one member of the pair put his back down, the most pretty member. Okay. All right. So, okay, Jackie. All right, now just watch me. First of all, keep the ball in your left hand, and with your strong hand, which is your timing hand, just hit the ball to Jackie so he has to catch it. Catch the ball back and just practice hitting, okay? All right, off we go. Let's do it together. All right, nice and easy, nice and soft. Okay, that's it. Nice and straight. Improve the timing. Make sure you're watching the ball. Improve the timing. There we go. That's it. Very good. That's it. Now we advance from that method onto this method, which is slightly different, where I'm going to ask the non-striker, that's the thrower, to throw the ball on a good length, and I'm going to hit the ball back to him under control. Okay, so he throws it on a good length, and I hit it back to him. So I'm learning to time the ball now on the bounce. Okay, on the bounce, there we go. All right. Okay, guys, let's see you do it. Come on, Jackie, you do it as well. Okay, on the bounce. There we go. On a good length, throw the ball on a good length, guys. Let's get it right. That's it. Well done. Learn to time the ball. Swing through, swing. And finally, the last variation on timing the ball, we're going to use two hands. Okay, right. Again, using the two hands in normal grip, I'm going to ask Jackie to throw the ball on a length, but this time I'm going to keep the ball on the ground with my hands, keeping the ball on the ground. Still timing the ball, using both hands now, especially my bottom hand though, to make sure the ball goes along the ground. Okay, guys, all together. Let's we go. Well done. Not too hard. Two hands, keeping the ball on the ground now, all right? Well done. Right, let's remember the key points in the drives all around the wicket. First important point is, as you pick your hands up, the hands must go back so you see a little bit of a shoulder turn in order to get maximum power into the shot. The next point is to get beside the ball and not in front of it. If you get beside the ball, you have room in which to hit it. The third point is as the hands come through, the weight must transfer so that your hip weight is right up above your front foot and over the ball. So your head is right underneath the ball. So as you hit, you're making absolute perfect contact there. Bat straight, and then follow through with your arms as straight as possible to stay on line with the ball. You can finish here in what is called a stop drive, or you can follow through at the end, keeping your hands straight in a follow-through drive perfected by the great Sir Leonard Hutton. So again, make sure you follow through and get the weight correct. So that's a straight drive. That applies with slight variation to the drive through the covers. Watch again, same back lift, the turn, watch the rotation of the shoulders and hit the ball through the covers. Obviously there's an element of danger here because your bat on contact is only half a bat and you can get caught at slip. So it's important to remember that. The on drive, one of the hardest shots in cricket to play. Not really if you apply the same principles. Again, pick your bat up high, get the foot out of the way and follow through along your shoulder line. Again, the hands going right the way through the ball and not working across it. Make sure you go all the way through and you really will enjoy driving the ball for four. I'd like to highlight the following points when you come down the wicket to change a bowler's length. Okay, it's important to remember that when you come down a long way and not just a short way. In other words, your first stride must be a full one. So as I come down, make a full first stride of my front foot there and take my shoulder towards the ball where it's going to pitch, or where at least I hope it's going to pitch. Slide my back foot behind in order to keep my head level and give myself a little bit more room to go through. If I keep my foot a little bit further back, I don't get as far as I should do. And then I come down finally with the final stride, turn the shoulder and hit the ball for four. And if I can't get there, for example, if I'm a little bit short, then I've got to stop and just play the ball back. I mustn't be caught out and get stumped if I'm not to the pitch of the ball. Let's go through that again. Let's remember, nice high back lift, get down the wicket, good first stride, chassis behind, second good stride, turn the shoulder to get the shot in and hit the ball for four. I can hit the ball for six if I want. I've got to lean back to do it and I've got to go there, but my hands must continue and extend right the way through the shot so the ball goes over the boundary. I'll just show you that a little again. Picking the bat up, big step down, chassis behind and drive the ball for four. It's often said that the sign of a really good player is how well he hits the ball off the back foot. Now Gary Kirsten has demonstrated a few of these, and let's see him do it and we'll break the shot down. Okay, Gary, pick your bat up, get across, into line with the ball, turn the shoulder to get the power and hit through the line of the ball with your hands at the same time getting up onto the toe of the left foot. During this video, we're going to have the help of Dave Richardson and Jonty Rhodes. When analysing a hook shot, you've got to remember that it's played to a ball that's coming at you fairly quickly, and actually as a missile, it can actually hurt you very badly. So when you play the hook shot, you've got to remember it's probably better to wear a helmet, as I'm not doing so, and I'm going to break it down, but just remember, do so when you practice it. First thing to remember is that the ball is at head height. Therefore, when you go back, okay, you have got to extend the hands and the arms as far as possible in front of you in order to make contact with the ball. And as you hit it, swivel on your toes and keep the hands straight and follow through. The ball will go down to deep long leg, hopefully. Remember, you've come now inside the original line of the ball because you've swiveled. It's not easy as a a batsman to get inside the line of Alan Donald and then hook him. In fact, you have to hook him off your nose and then come inside in order to do so. So it's a very instinctive shot. I'll just go through it again. Remember, you'll need a high backflip because you're playing the ball at head height. Come back and just swivel and hit it down. Okay, so it is an instinctive shot and one that you have to be careful of playing because a quick bowler will try and get you out caught hooking down at long leg and fine leg. The hook shot certainly concentrates the mind and throws down the gauntlet to the bowler. Notice Gary Kirsten's got into line, straightening his arms, which has given him control of the shot.
Ball from Dool and Kirsten quickly onto it.
The pull shot is distinctly different to the hook shot. Where the hook shot you're playing a ball that's head high, the pull shot the ball will normally be about waist height. And it's played to a ball that's probably just disappearing or going down the leg side. But in order to play this, you must get in a good position. So, first thing to remember is to get the bat nice and high and to go back straight towards middle and off stump there, okay? But turn the toe down the wicket so it allows you to pivot out, okay? Watch the toe again, turn and pivot out so you get nice big stride here, nice base in which to hit the ball, to hit against the left side, okay? Turn the shoulder towards the ball and hit the ball exactly in front of your eyes at arm's length, okay? Roll the wrists over and let the body turn, bend the knee, and the ball should go in front of square for 4 runs. It's the easiest shot to play. Everyone can play this shot. It gets you into a lot of trouble played badly. I'll show you what can happen. You go here, and your feet don't move, and the arms get close, and you top edge it, and you get out caught by the wicket keeper or at square leg. So you must make sure that when you go back, turn, extend the feet, get them wide, get them parallel to the crease, so you can really hit the ball, turn the shoulder and follow through and hit it for 4. Here are some great examples of the pull played correctly. Don't forget the movement of the feet is a vital component. There are times in cricket when you're playing against the really quick bowlers like Alan Donald, Brett Schultz, Curtly Ambrose, Craig McDermott, where you aren't able to play the hook shot and you can't in fact hit the ball anywhere, and therefore you have to be able to get out of the way. Now I'm going to demonstrate this by using a tennis ball. I advise you to use a tennis ball to start with, or if you're going to use a hard ball, wear a helmet. Okay, let's have a look. All right, and I'm just going to play, and I get down, and I'm always watching the ball. That's important. Watch the ball and get inside it. The next way is to go down underneath the ball, but watch it there, okay? There, that's it. Keep your eye on the ball. Never take your eye off the ball like this, because you don't know where it's going to go. Okay, keep your eye on the ball and duck down. That's right. That's it. Okay, so those are the 2 ways. Let's break that down without the ball now. Okay, you're going back against the quick bowler. Give yourself a little bit more time. Use the feet. And as the ball, you're about to play it, and as you see it coming, you sway inside it by bending down, taking your head here, and the ball will go through there. If the ball's coming at you, going down the leg side, you stay here, turn this way, but keep your eye on the ball. Never turn away from the ball, because that's when you get hit. So it's very difficult. Okay, the last one I'm going to demonstrate is when I'm looking to hook the ball, and at the last minute I realise that the ball is too quick for me. Ooh. See? So I got in a bit of trouble. So now I've got to learn to bail out. Going to hook, and then I bail out by bringing my bat down, still keeping my eye on the ball. It's better to get hit on the shoulder than in the face or get out caught behind. Hook and down. That ball was too high, therefore I left it. Good leave. Going to hook, that's too low, keep my hands down. Okay, again, there, and keep my hands down. Okay, so those are the ways that you can leave the ball when the ball is too high and is too quick for you. There are other times, however, where you need to be able to leave the ball when the bowler bowls you a perfect delivery. So there are 2 ways. I won't be able to do this with a ball, What I will do is try and explain to you how to leave the ball when it's pitching on a good length, moving off the seam or swinging in the air. Pick my bat up, I'm usually forward, I see the ball in the last minute, it's too good for me, and I take the bat out of the way, bailing out here. Watch that, I'm there, whoops, it's too good for me, so I take the bat out of the way. It's immaculate line and length, so I've got to be careful. The next one is I'm actually playing the shot, it moves off the seam, and the last minute I take my bat out of the way. This is called a curtain rail technique. Watch as I take the bat out of the way. So I'm actually leaving it here. So those are the ways that you can compete with the ball when it is too good for you to score runs off. Just seen Dave Richardson play his favourite cut shot. Now I'm going to break this shot down for you, but before I do, I want you to realise that it is a very dangerous shot, that if not played properly, you're going to get caught in the gully or caught in the slips. Okay, let's see how Dave plays it successfully. Firstly, pick your bat up nice and high to get on top of the ball. And remember, the ball is a wide ball, that's why it's dangerous. Okay, then step across towards the ball, pointing your toe down to third man. This will keep you sideways on in order to hit the ball and allow your shoulders to turn to create the power. Okay, remember that, point the foot down to third man. Right, from there, make sure you swing the bat parallel to the ground, extending the arms to the fullest in order to make contact and create the most power. That creates the power by having your arms extended. Okay, roll the wrists over and lean into the shot to keep the ball down. Remember, lean into it to keep the ball down. Some people, okay, look to cut up now in order to clear the slips and go down to third man. But for this particular shot, I want you to keep the ball down, keep your head over the ball, and make sure the ball goes for 4 behind gully, and it's a great shot if you get it right. Watch Gary Kirsten get above the ball, extend his arms, and play the square cut really well, getting the maximum benefit, 4 runs. There's a distinct difference between the square cut that I've just demonstrated and the late cut. Okay, the late cut is played to a field which is predominantly onside, but I'm going to hit the ball behind square because that is the only gap available to me. I'll play it to an off spinner who's bowling with a leg side field, or to an in-swing bowler if he bowls a little bit wide. Now it's important in this shot to remember that I'm going to play the ball late. So I'm actually going to play the ball out of the wicketkeeper's hands. Let's demonstrate. Okay, pick the bat up, and I'm going to get low on this one because I have to make sure that I don't miss the ball. So I get down low, again my foot pointing down to third man, I get right down and let the ball come past me, and at the last minute I just dab it out of the keeper's hands. Okay, dab it out of the keeper's hands, and if I play it properly, get enough bat on it, it's going to go for 4. It's a great shot, but again it's very dangerous. The final shot in the series of cuts will be the square cut off the front foot. Now this is a very good shot played on a marvellous wicket when you're in good nick. Let's demonstrate. Okay, first of all, pick my bat up. And what I do now is I attack the ball, I go at it with my front foot, get my front foot across. It's a wide ball, it's a bad ball. Okay, turn the shoulder to get the power, extend the arms and cut the ball through on the offside. Again, watch that, extend the arms, roll the wrists over it, and I lean into it. And it's sometimes called a square drive, but basically it's a square cut off the front foot. Remember, all cuts should only be played on a wicket with pace and true bounce. Played well, it's a thrilling shot. Played badly, as you can see, will lead to your dismissal.
Didn't really come onto the batters.
When building an innings, the cut shot should only be used as you become more confident.
Fine catch by Cullen, moving sharply away to his left.
One of the more controversial shots today is the sweep shot. And with me to demonstrate the shot is Jonty Rhodes. Jonty, you enjoy playing the sweep. Why do you do it?
You know, I just found that for a spin bowler to try and dominate me, he's got to bowl a very good line and length. And by using the sweep shot, I can actually upset his length.
That's interesting. What about coming down the wicket? Isn't that an easier way to do it?
You know, people get criticised for not coming down the wicket, but I find if the wicket is turning and I stay in my crease, I'm not going to get stumped. And by playing a defensive sweep shot, I can actually get one. I'm not trying to hit fours every ball, but just by getting down to the other end, I'm out of the danger area.
Okay, now let's demonstrate that shot. I'm going to use some fielders. I'm going to use 2 backward short legs, a wicket-keeper, silly point, and silly mid-off, who will feed me the ball. Okay, I'm going to start by getting Jonty to start in the finished position. That may sound Irish, but there we are. So that is the defensive sweep position at the end of the shot. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to lob the ball underarm onto the bat so he gets used to hitting the ball to the backward short legs. Okay, now at the second part of the shot, Jonty's now going to take his hands back as though he's ready to move into that position, and I'm going to ask him to get into the position as the ball is coming down. Okay, Joe, and down. That's it. All right, and down again. That's it, well done. And now the third part, I'm going to ask him to stand up, okay, and do the whole shot together. All right. And I lob the ball, and he gets into position and throws it and gets it going down. Okay, and again, and that's it. Good. Here, Jonty highlights the difference between the defensive and the conventional sweep. Getting his body in the same position, he swings his arms at full length, front pad in line and head forward. The intended result of this shot is 4 runs. A new innovation now, of course, is the reverse sweep. And we're going to ask Jonty why and how he plays that.
Well, I think you can leave it out in the test match. It's a really effective shot in one-day cricket, especially when an off-spinner is bowling to you with a predominantly leg-side field and there's a big gap behind square on the offside. And I just use the reverse sweep to look for my runs in that area.
That's interesting. Okay, let's break that down again and see how we coach that. Okay, guys, now we need 2 fielders on the offside here, a little bit deeper to catch the ball. Okay, we'll have one on the leg side there just in case. Right. Again, I'm going to get Jonty into the right position. That's the end of the shot. And he's going to get there in front of his pad and the bat ready just to take the ball. Again, I should lob it and he'll just flick it back down to those 2 slips. Again, that's it. Now the difference here, okay, when Jonty wants to get in that shot, he's actually got to turn his hands over. Let's have a look. From here, instead of going that way and then trying to turn, he's going to actually go over the top and turn from there. Okay? Right, let's watch that. Right, from the back lift, turns the hands over, and he flicks the ball down. Again, turns the hand over, and flicks the ball down. Now we get him to stand up. This is the hard part. Again, remember it's a full toss. He's going to run it down there for 2 runs. Okay, and down. Well done. That's good. Again, he moves into position. And that's it. That's the reverse sweep. The reason the right hand moves over the left in the reverse sweep is to ensure that the hands don't move away from the line of the ball. Play the shot with caution, and remember it's played to change a spin bowler's line and length. Running between the wickets is a vital part of batsmanship. You've just seen a prime example of how not to do it. Let's see if they can do it correctly this time. Yes, no, keeper! Okay, well you've just seen him do it correctly. That was very good. Dave Richardson is called early, sent Jonty back, Jonty's got back easily. So that's running between the wickets. Calling quickly. Let's have a look at the points we need to avoid. Jonty has started running before calling. And the biggest crime, both players are ball watching. In this example in Test cricket, you can see both batsmen are ball watching. The batsman at the striker's end has decided there is no run. The non-striker has decided he can get in, but the level of communication is nil. Result, run out. In this example, Jonty has called early, communicated as they crossed, got low to gain maximum reach and slid his bat over the line to ensure the run is completed. While Dave Richardson, now facing the ball, has called for the second, and Jonty slides his bat in, a prerequisite of running between the wickets. There are only 3 calls, and this is what they mean. Jonty, you're the next man in. Do you get nervous?
Of course I do. I think everyone does get nervous to a degree. It's quite important to be able to, I think, use your nerves, control it, and channel it in the right direction, because it will make you a lot sharper. The adrenaline is definitely pumping. And if you can control your nerves, I think you can go out to the field being really sharp.
What preparation are you going to do now, just before you go in?
Well, I like to get out and have a look at what the bowlers are doing, see the state of the ball, see if it's swinging or not. We're quite fortunate we've got the television, so we can look at the replays in the change room and just see where the fielders are, where the better fielders are, if the guy's left-handed or right-handed, where the singles are, and if we're scoring in a one-day game, where we're scoring, where we aren't scoring. So by the time I get out there, hopefully I've got a game plan already.
Yeah, on the way to the wicket, any tips for the boys?
Well, I like to get my feet moving. You know, it's quite important. I think the first ball you face, the bowler obviously wants to get in the right place, and you want to be ready for it. And if your feet aren't moving, if you're a little bit nervous and you're a bit tentative, you tend to stiffen up a bit, and then your feet don't move. And I think in cricket, I like to run a bit in the spot before I get out to the wicket. I might look a bit like a prancing horse, but by the time I get there, my feet are moving and my adrenaline is flowing in the right direction.
When you've got to the wicket, you've taken guard. What do you do now? I mean,
well, I want the bowler to bowl at me. You know, I want to make it easy for myself as possible. And if I start playing shots outside the off stump, the bowler's got more of a chance to getting me out. So I like to know where my off stump is. I take my guard and also mark where my off stump is and just try and score my runs off the body and mainly on the leg side. You know, if he bowls me a half volley on off stump, I'm going to obviously drive it. But initially, for the first sort of half an hour of my innings, unless it's a one-day game, the situation calls for otherwise, I'm going to play as straight as possible and just make sure I play down the line of the ball.
Right, you've got to 30. Okay, you've got to 30, and now the pressure's off you a little bit. How do you keep your concentration going?
Well, I think it's really still, it's very important. I mean, you just one slip up and you're out again. And in 5-day cricket, especially in first-class cricket, 30s and 40s, we've learnt now that it's just not good enough for anyone. And you've got to keep treating each ball as it comes. I think the biggest mistake you start doing once you've got 30 or 40 is premeditating a shot. You know, you think, well, if he bowls it here, I'm going to play it. Well, the next ball I'm going to play it to leg side, or I'm going to sweep it. I'm going to sweep it for 4, rather than just play each ball on its merits. So I think it's important that you remain focused on each ball. You remain focused on each bowler as well. You know, especially if you've got to 30, you probably have 1 or 2 bowling changes. You've got to get to know what each bowler's doing, and make sure you've worked out how the pitch is playing.
When you've some batsmen that I've talked to like to go up in 10s. Do you use that method at all?
I like to use that in a partnership, not for myself in 10s, but batting with the other guy.
Right.
You know, I just find if you're setting a total, if you say, okay, we're going to score 100, you know, that's quite a daunting sort of task. And between the two of you, if you're scoring at 10s, between the two of you, I could score 1, and he might score 2 boundaries and a 1, and we've got 10. So it takes the pressure off me. Whereas if I'm thinking I must score 10s, you know, then if I go with a few overs without scoring, then I'm putting myself under a bit of pressure. But if we're doing the 10s together, I do find it takes the pressure off both batsmen, because if I have a good over and he has a bad over, at least we're still sticking to our task.
You got to 50. Is that a danger period for you? A sort of a relief period, or are you looking to sort of go on from there?
It is a relief, but I also think I think the biggest danger area is about 60 or 70, because after 50, you always get told to start again. And you do tend to start again, and you're playing as correctly as possible from 50 to 60. But once you're on 60, you think, well, I'm away, and you play a few more shots than you would, say, between 20 and 30. So by getting to 70, that for me is a danger period between 70 and 100, because straight after 50, I tend to start again and do concentrate for the next 10 or 15 runs. But then after that, I get a bit loose.
So it'd be quite important then, once you get to that danger period, or you recognise that danger period, that maybe you should take guard again, have a look at the field again, compose yourself, get ready again. Would you agree with that?
I think it'd be really useful
You know, people talk about 50s and 100s, but I think you can even break it down, like you say, into a danger period, which for me is between sort of 60 and 70. So if I can break that down and start again and keep going in the 10s, instead of looking for the 100 or the 50 and being a bit loose.
Now you're playing test match cricket, you've got to 120. What are your targets now?
You know, I still think it's really important. Test cricket is really hard. You can get some really top bowlers, you can get a bad decision, you can play a bad shot. And if it's your day, if you get to 120, you've actually got to make it really big. Because there could be a batsman coming in, you could think, well, we're 300 for 3, and I'm on 120, I've done my job. But the next 3 or 4 batsmen might get either a good delivery or a bad decision. And if it's your day, you've got to make it count. I think that the better test players we've seen and have played against have scored really big hundreds against us. And we know what it's like when a chap scores 170, that's making it big. Rather than 110 or 113 or 120, if it's your day, you've really got to go right through and score over 150.
That's really good advice from a really good test cricketer. And all of you who listen to that, you know, it's important to build an innings and work hard on it. It's very important for amateur cricketers to look after their bat properly. Here I have a new bat, and you'll see that it hasn't been touched at all. And basically what we need to do here is actually just put linseed oil on it to give it a nice binding to make sure that the bat doesn't crack before you use it. Now don't put too much oil on, just a little dab on there, and then using your fingers, just apply the oil gently right across the surface, right the way down, along the edges, all the parts that you're going to use. Remember, you bought the bat, you're allowed to use all of it, and just get it in there nice and easy, okay? Let it go in there, and then just leave it down to dry. And here we have the slightly older bat, okay, which looks as though someone scored 500 runs on it. And we're just going to first of all use a slightly thick piece of sandpaper and just get the marks off first before we oil it again. Okay, so first of all just sand it off. You can see quite clearly that the sand and the marks are coming off here and the dirty marks at the bottom. Sandpaper it nice and easy right across the whole bat. Using the edges as well. And then take the thick sandpaper, put it down, find some nice fine flour paper and just smooth it off nice and easy there, like that. Okay. And then finish off with a very small piece of oil on the bat. Just a little dab. Okay. Rub it in with your hands. Right up the edges. That's it. Make sure you, and the bottom of the bat as well. That's very important you do the bottom of the bat. Okay. And then when you're finished, just take a cloth, gently wipe it off. And there you are, that bat's ready to go into storage for the winter and will last you a long time. As you can see here, we've got a bat that's badly cracked and very dry. So this one we have to do quite a lot of work on. First of all, again, get the sandpaper and get these edges down. And get those cracks especially as low as possible. And that's going to take some time. Don't be scared to make the holes a little bit bigger if you have to. Really get that off and work hard on those cracks. Okay. Blow away the dirt. Now you see you've got these cracks compressed in there. You might need to plug them, but in this particular instance we can't do that. So we're going to tape them with what we've got here is fiberglass tape. It's available at all the sports shops. And you just merely tape over the top of that crack, reinforce it. It's very strong tape. Take it all the way around, reinforce it again, nice and easily there, and then take it to the back and cut it off. You see, that tape will hold that bat and hold that crack nicely for you. I think it's very important that you make your job enjoyable as well as the people you're teaching enjoyable. And to do that, you need to plan your coaching carefully. And what I've done is used here a cricket coaching school term planner to get you through a school term season. For example, in a school term you might have 9 weeks in which you're going to coach cricket.